Hey there, I'm Dan, the self-proclaimed Lonely Rocker. Thank you so much for joining me today. So we've come to the end of another year, and what has become sort of a tradition around here is me counting down the top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year. And this year it's being sponsored by Sweetwater. A huge thank you has to go out to Sweetwater. They've been really supporting my channel this year, and I really appreciate it. Now, I promise you, this is not a list of 10 things you can buy at Sweetwater. These are actual products that I featured or use here in the studio that have made an impact on me on some way or the other, and I thought it was worth reliving them all one more time before we close out the year. So let's not waste any more time and dive right in. So at number 10 on my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year is, in fact, a guitar, and it's from a brand that I kind of had a false start with. The first guitar I got from this brand didn't work out so well, and those of you who follow my channel know what I'm talking about, but I didn't let it tarnish my image because this is a really great brand with a lot of different models, and that brand is Schecter, and the model is the Solo 2 Custom. Now, I haven't even done a standalone video about it yet, but it's already been featured in a number of videos, so let's check it out. Can't say enough about the Solo 2 Custom. For the money, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a quality guitar like this in sort of that mid-price range. Very affordable for what really is a high-quality guitar. And I do want to mention, Stringjoy has been supplying strings for all my guitars here in the studio. So a big thank you to Stringjoy this year. You can get Stringjoy at Sweetwater, as Schecter is also a brand that Sweetwater carries. So I'll put links to both in the description if you want to check out either Schecter or Stringjoy. At number 9 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year, I've got a fire breather of an amplifier that will not break the bank. This is a Soldano clone that falls in more that budget sort of area, but it is a high quality amplifier that sounds really good. I'm talking about the Wong's HD30H. At number 8 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year, I've got a Loadbox. Now, Loadbox recording is imperative if you are in a home and you've got a family, or if you've got neighbors or roommates, because amplifiers can be really loud. But your Loadbox has got to be quality if you want to translate those juicy tones from your amp to your computer. And one of those Loadboxes, which is actually one of 2 that I got this year that I'm really proud of, that I use all the time, that's the React IR2 from Saint Rock. Let's check it out. At number 7 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year is a modeler. Now, I got hot and heavy into modeling last year after resisting it for the longest time, but now there is no shortage of modelers in my studio. But this particular one, they took sort of a bigger one and they shrunk it down, and I really think they got this one right. It is an amazing modeler for the price, give you a lot of features, and that would be Boss and the GX10. Let's check it out. In an era when things are getting smaller and smaller, you really need to pay attention to the features you get on these devices. And somehow Boss was able to take the bigger GX100 and squeeze it down into the GX10, giving all of the same internal features in a smaller form factor. It's a really great device and offers a lot of value for the money. If you're just getting into modeling, it's definitely one I recommend. Now, Sweetwater is a Boss dealer, of course, so I will put a link in the description if you want to check out the Boss GX10 for yourself. At number 6 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year is another modeler. Now, this is something that I've really wanted in my studio in a long time, and full transparency, this is the only item on this list that was a sponsored video with Sweetwater, but it was something that I targeted, that I wanted to feature here on the channel, and I absolutely love it. I knew I was going to love it because it's a great device, and that would be the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. I originally wanted a Quad Cortex because it's a bit buzzworthy, and as a guitar YouTuber myself, I really needed to have a Quad Cortex here. But let me tell you something, I really love that device. It's super easy to use, it sounds great, and I love capturing amps as I have a growing inventory of tube amplifiers, and it does that really well, and it's super simple, and it's quick. Anyway, Sweetwater obviously sells Quad Cortex. If you want more information about that, well, check out the link in the description. At number 5 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year is a brand that I've really coveted for a long time. They make some really cool products, but this particular item is another Loadbox, and you can never have enough Loadboxes when you have multiple amps in your studio. Well, the Amp Central Evo from Red 7 is a top shelf Loadbox, something I've targeted for a long time, and I'm thrilled to have it here in the studio. Let's check it out. At number 4, my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year is something pretty big. Yeah, this is pretty huge. Now, this one thing changed the entire dynamics here in my studio. It changed the way I review amplifiers. It changed the way I record. And it's that big thing behind me. Yes, that's the Angle 4x12 XXL. Let's check it out. Having a cabinet like the 4x12 XXL from Angle has really opened up possibilities here in my studio, especially the way I present amplifiers. I call it kind of a 360 view, where I put room mics in the room. I give you the close miking and the room miking to give you a sense of what that amplifier really sounds like screaming through an amazing 4x12. So look forward to more of that in the new year, because we're pumping some more amps through that cabinet. Anyways, Sweetwater is a proud dealer of Angle, so I will put a link in the description if you want more information. So we're almost into the top 3 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year. But before I get there, I've got a couple of honorable mentions. Now, these are worth mentioning. They're not technically guitar gear, but they're certainly helping to make some of my guitar gear better. Now, the first one is a laptop And yes, hell froze over. Known as a Mac guy, I got myself a PC, but it was something that I needed to do because I wanted to build a Tonex cart where I'm doing amp capturing with the Tonex platform, and I really wanted to drive that with a PC because it's just that much better and that much faster. Now, Creative Devices is a company built on the idea that creative professionals need great tools at more affordable prices. The guy who runs the company is a creative individual himself, and he's worked really hard developing machines that are more affordable, but that provide all the power necessary for those creative professionals out there. Now, the Notebook Pro G16 is the one that I have here in my studio, so let's check it out. The Creative Devices Notebook Pro G16 sports an Intel i9 14-core 20-thread high-performance processor with boost up to 5 GHz in speed. It has an NVIDIA RTX 3060 dedicated graphics card that can handle up to 8K when editing video with NVIDIA Studio drivers. The beautiful 16.1-inch 2560 by 1600 IPS panel display is super sharp and responsive. It has 64 gigabytes of RAM and 2 terabytes of internal SSD storage. And for a thin profile laptop, it has good connectivity with 3 USB ports, 1 USB-C, and an SD card slot. So we're one step away from my top 3 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year. And I have one more honorable mention, because again, technically this is not officially guitar gear, but for this guitar player, these have become essential here in my studio. And that would be IK Multimedia's iLoud Precision 6 studio monitors. Wow, these are an incredible pair of studio monitors. Really upgraded my studio here. My mixes have gotten so much better. Now, I haven't quite figured out how to position them yet in terms of a standalone video, or we're definitely going to see it sometime in 2025. But I just wanted you to know about these monitors because it has really improved my mixes. There are debates on whether or not DSP processing and studio monitors can correct a room that's imperfect. But I'll tell you, if you know your room, compared to what I was doing with what I had before, and I had pretty decent speakers before I changed, these things have made a world of difference. My mixes have gotten so much better, and I'm really excited to have them here in the studio. So an honorable mention to IK Multimedia. I love IK Multimedia. I've got a ton of their products here, but Sweetwater is an IK dealer, of course. I'll put some links in the description if you want to check it out. So we're into the top 3 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year. And this got really tough because really it was hard to say which was the best one, but I think I had to flip a coin with a couple of these. But we are into the top 3 and I had to pick a number 3. And at number 3 is a very, very special amplifier. It's the one that's been glowing behind me. This is the Uwe Lulis signature Lulis amp from Tube Workshop. Now, special mention to Henning Polly in 42 Gear Street 6. I was there this year and I got to meet Mario from Tube Workshop, and that translated into this amp now here in my studio. And this is a beast of an amplifier. What can I say about it? Let's check it out. We're at number 2 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year, and this is also a special one. It's another amplifier. My inventory has been growing here. I love real amplifiers. I love modelers. I just love tone and guitar sounds in general, but there's something special about this amplifier. Much like the last one, this is a hand-built all-tube amplifier, and I was so honored that it was sent to me here, and I use it almost every day. And that would be the Evo TM50. That's the Tom Monda signature. It's an incredible amplifier that has a lot of range and a very special mid-range, but let's check it out. Well, we've arrived at number 1 of my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year. And this one, it's not the most expensive thing I got this year. It's not the most sophisticated thing that I got this year. It was something that I got on a whim, completely unexpected. I was out running some errands and I popped into a local music store and they were having a blowout sale. They had tables and tables of pedals and things like that. Like, oh, I don't really need anything. I grabbed some pedal that I probably didn't need and I was just kind of walking around trying some different guitars, and I was just about to leave and then I looked over my shoulder. It was this shoulder. But in this video, I need to look over this shoulder because it's sitting behind me right here. This guitar, I couldn't believe it. It was 50% off. I don't know if it was B stock or old stock. Brand new guitar, had a slight little dent on the back, but it was absolutely perfect. It felt pretty good in my hands. I didn't actually plug it in, but I thought for 900 Canadian dollars for a brand new, I took it home. And let me tell you something. The more I played it, the more I fell in love with this guitar. Look, I have American-made Gibsons and Surs and all other brands here. This guitar, which not even close to being close to the most expensive guitar, and it's not always about money, but just sort of putting this into perspective. I didn't expect much from it, but holy cow, this thing just felt better in my hands the more I played it. It sounds great, it stays in tune, and it had appeared in almost every video for like 3 months after I bought it. It's just become that guitar that I go to that just, it can do high gain tones, it can do classic rock, it can do blues, it can do clean. It's just an incredible guitar, and it goes to show you guitar players out there, when you're looking to buy a guitar, you need to play that guitar to know if it's right for you. I don't have anything like it here. It's the first offset style guitar that I have here, and I never really thought it was something that I wanted, but now that I have it, I don't think I could do without it. And I am talking about the ESP LTD Deluxe Phoenix 1000. Let's check it out. Uh-oh. I tell you, I've learned so much from playing this guitar. It's a bigger guitar, and I never thought that was something for me. And guitars that have always felt perfect to me now feel really small. It's just, it fits my body right. I'm not the smallest guy in the world, so it just feels really comfortable when I'm sitting down and playing it. The offset, with my arm, having to extend further out here, I got over that pretty quickly, but it's just, for me, it's just so comfortable to play, and it really delivers when I need it. I've used this guitar in place of other guitars that were failing. Another guitar I had for sort of drop C tunings. This was set up for regular tuning, standard tuning. I tuned it down just for a quick record, and it stayed in tune and got the job done. I think that was the day I knew that really this is the one for me. I love guitars, and there's gonna be more guitars here. I mentioned my Schecter, other brands here. My old Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion will always be my #1. But this, in terms of a utility guitar that just gets it done day in, day out, my goodness, what a find this was. Well, Sweetwater is a proud ESP and ESP LTD dealer, so I will put a link in the description if you want to check it out. I do highly recommend if you're into the style of guitar. This thing blew me away. Anyways, that concludes my top 10 guitar gear acquisitions of the year. We're talking 2024. And what will 2025 bring? Well, hopefully another great top 10 list. If things go really well, maybe it'll be a top 20. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, I want to thank Sweetwater so much for the support that they gave me this year. YouTubers like me, we need that support to keep going, especially guys like me that are doing it full time. I want to be as honest about everything that I do here, and I'm as transparent as a YouTuber can be, but it doesn't hurt to have the support of you, the fine viewer, watching the videos. If some of you are clicking on my affiliate links, it all helps to keep me going and keep doing what I'm doing. And I thank each and every one of you that spent even a second with me and my channel this year. I really appreciate it. I hope the new year is a special one for you and yours, and you get whatever you've been dreaming about, because that's what this is all about. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any last questions for me for 2024, that's what the comment section is for. But if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And while you're down there, well, this was #1. So So why don't we check out the video? Well, if you want to check out the video that I did on this, I'm going to pop it right here if you want to check it out. And remember, you don't need a band to rock and roll. I'll catch you in the next one.